the undisputed ultimate duelist. The title I have earned alongside this powerful ring. With this title, only one monster could really be my ace. None other than the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. The Dark Magician! That's right, today guys, it is my turn to take on the Dark Magician in the Let's Make It Meta series. We will be exploring how to optimize the Dark Magician strategy as much as possible in order to let it compete amongst the top ranks of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Now before we get into the decks, the cards, and the games, if you enjoy this type of content and this series, please make sure to like, subscribe, as well as comment down below what decks you want to see in the future, because I am always watching. And if you comment enough, there's a higher chance that your deck will be picked next. With that said, it's time to duel! Okay, so what are the most important aspects to building Dark Magicians? Well, a couple things to note. The most powerful Dark Magician card is Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, a fusion between Yugi's Dark Magician and Joey's Red Eye's Black Dragon. It has an incredibly powerful ability with 3 separate effects that all make it a worthwhile boss monster. However, it is not legal for play in Master Duel, being only available in the OCG and TCG. So instead, we have to build our Dark Magician deck around something else. And it doesn't help that Dark Magician really hasn't gotten that much support recently, with the most recent being a couple years ago in Battles of Chaos. And even that support wasn't very good. And prior to that, well, there's practically nothing. So we have to be creative and find power, consistency, and value from external engines that'll help supplement the Dark Magicians. But before we decide on what we want to use in that regard, let's figure out exactly what our boss monster is going to be. If it's not Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, what is it? So my proposal for the best boss monster is, well, not that original. It's the Dark Magicians. A fusion monster requiring Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl plus any spellcaster monster. And once per turn, if a spell, a trap card, or effect is activated, you can draw 1 card. And then if it's a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate it this turn, meaning you can use it immediately for defense. As well as once destroyed, you can special summon a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl in your hand, deck, or graveyard. This card may pale in comparison to the Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, but it's not too shabby. Note how its once per turn effect is once per turn per copy, meaning we can get several Dark Magicians onto the field. We will be able to use all the effects in 1 turn. And remember, this card does not only work with our spells and traps, also the opponent's, meaning even if we cannot activate its effect immediately, our opponents can trigger it for us, and during either player's turn by that matter. So it can be a constant flow of resources and draws into a lot of powerful defensive options. So my goal with this deck is going to be summoning the Dark Magicians in multiples, because I think that's when this deck can really run away with it. But doing so obviously requires a constant flow of fusion cards, which can be kind of hard. Thankfully, there are answers to it. But we'll get there shortly. First, let's go over the most important Dark Magician cards that fill out our deck. And there is no Dark Magician card as important as Magician's Souls. A very powerful card in its own right, even in non-Dark Magician decks. Be special summoned by sending any level 6 or higher spellcasters from your deck to the graveyard. You could alternatively, instead of summoning itself, summon a Dark Magician from your graveyard, which is not terrible, but it's not going to be as good as summoning itself from the hand because it has another ability on the field. And that is, you can send up to 2 spell or traps from your hand or field to the graveyard and draw that many cards. Then you cycle for new abilities, as well as opening up synergies for cards that need to go to the graveyard. We'll get to that more later. Now, Magician's Souls is a fantastic card, but it alone is not consistent enough to make a deck. Thankfully, there is a card that searches it, and then a card that searches that. Well, the card that I'm talking about is Illusion of Chaos, a level 7 ritual monster, which we are never ritual summoning. But what it does do is you can reveal it in the hand to add a Dark Magician or a non-ritual monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. Then you place a card from your hand on top of your deck. It has another effect on the field as if it were ritual summoned, but I'm going to ignore that because there is 0 possibility of me doing that in these games. Essentially, this acts as a reinforcement of the army in monster form, but it's nice because being ritual monster means you can search it with cards like Preparation of Rites, essentially giving you a lot of constant access throughout your deck for whatever you need. Now, I wish there were more better quality Dark Magician cards because Souls is really the only one worth getting. That being said, you don't want multiples of Souls too often, so there's one of the target we play as a one of in case we don't need more Souls. And that is Dark Magician's Rod. Who's trying to play with that? When it's normal summon, you can add a spell or trap next to your hand that mentions Dark Magician. which is seemingly great until you realize all the Dark Magician cards were printed years ago and are power crept, so by modern standards aren't that effective. And then it also has the ability that during your opponent's turn, if you use a spell or trap or effect whilst in your graveyard, you can tribute a spellcaster, add to your hand. So in random grind games, it can come up, but it's not going to be your focus of the deck. Old Dark Magician decks would have played a slow grind game with Rod, Eternal Soul, and Dark Magical Circle. Not going to be our focus here, as that can never hold up by modern standards if you're trying to be a meta deck. Beyond that, there's no other new Dark Magician monsters we play. We still are playing Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl as their integral fusion pieces. These cards, don't be fooled, suck to draw. They are essentially targets to fuse with, and that's it. Okay, but surely Dark Magician has access to some of the most powerful spell cards in the game. Being the ultimate wizard, you can cast some powerful spells, right? Wrong, because they really haven't gotten anything in so long, and actually made me think, like, damn, we've gotten a lot of Blue Eyes cards, and now there's even a structure deck announced, but Dark Magician really hasn't gotten too much. But that's not to say the cards are worthless. Let's go over some of the cards that are still useful and still worth being played. The first up is Soul Servant, which is kind of like Reinforcement in the army. It places a card on top of your deck from your deck or graveyard that mentions Dark Magician or is Dark Magician. And then during the main phase, you can banish it from the graveyard to draw cards from your deck equal to the number of Dark Magicians, Palladium, or Dark Magician Girls with different names in your field or graveyard. Truthfully, you're usually only getting one, as it's hard to set up multiple. In this deck, without any Palladium monsters, I am only ever drawing 2 max, and it's possible, but not often on turn 1. It'll be a grind game thing. But if it happens, sick. And one of the most common targets is going to be one that most Dark Magician fans are familiar with, and that is Dark Magical Circle, a continuous spell that when activated looks at the top 3 cards of your deck. Among them, you can reveal 1 Dark Magician or spell and trap card that mentions Dark Magician, add it to your hand. Then you can arrange the order of those cards and place it on top of your deck. So this card acts as like a pot of duality for your Dark Magician cards. However, because there's very few good Dark Magician cards, oftentimes you won't actually get to trigger the search off this, unless you put something there with Soul Servant. However, the better thing about this card, or not the better thing, but a good thing about this card, is that you get to arrange the top 3 cards of your deck, even if there's no Dark Magician cards in there. So when you're trying to build a disruption and sculpt your hand, you can search Super Poly, Ash Blossom, Callby within the top 3 cards, acting like Prosperity or Duality in its complete sense, not just searching Dark Magician cards. That's important because your deck has a lot of searchability, specifically if you're pairing Dark Magical Circle with the Dark Magicians. And that alone makes it a huge worthwhile play. You also have the effect that when you summon a Dark Magician, you get to banish a card. And in the old traditional Dark Magician decks of around 10 years ago, this was a very powerful ability. And it still is solid, but the reality is summoning a Dark Magician on your opponent's turn is not super easy. And specifically at the time of filming this video, Tenpai is very popular. Everyone's playing Lightning Storm and Feather Duster and Heavy Storm, so trying to rely on your back row as an easy and reliable chance of victory by banishing with like Eternal Soul and such, it's not reliable. But talking about it, let's talk about Eternal Soul, a continuous trap that says every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's effects. But it has the downside that if this itself leaves the field, it'll destroy all monsters you control. Then once per turn, you can use one of the following effects once per turn. Once to add a Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. I don't play either of those because it's too slow. Or you can special a Dark Magician from your hand to grave, which is cool. 2,500 is not a terrible beat stick by any means. You can very much win games on the back of Dark Magician attacking, as well as, again, with Eternal Soul, you can banish their cards, which is very powerful when you get to that point, but not always very easy to do. Now, Eternal Soul is also searchable off something else, and that card is Magician's Salvation, a field spell that places Eternal Soul directly from the deck face down. And then when a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl is summoned, you can summon the other one from your graveyard, letting you get out your Magician duo quick and easy. Now, that's not honestly the best play in the world, so we don't do it that often, but it is a free card to send off souls, as well as in grind games, it can be useful, so slotting in one of those can be worthwhile. Now, the Dark Magician archetype does have a bunch of other fusion monsters, but truthfully, the rest are another step down below the quality of Dark Magicians. Dragon Master Magia, a Blue Eyes card, is a card you can honestly fit in this deck and would function largely better than the Dark Magician fusions you do have. Now, I do play some of the other ones because they aren't useless, but they're not really that important either, so we'll get there. Now, before I show you guys the deck, there is another engine that is incredibly important to my version of this deck that is worth talking about, and that is the Toy Box cards. If you haven't heard of these cards, they are fairly new to both Master Duel and the TCG, and they're quite powerful when used in conjunction with cards like Forbidden Droplet, the White Forest cards, or in this deck, primarily Magician's Souls. So let's talk about what they do exactly. Toy Box is at the center of this theme. It is a continuous spell card which says once per turn you can choose 2 toy monsters from your hand, deck, field, or graveyard, throw them face down as spell and trap cards, and yep, that's cool. Or you could instead use the other effect, which is to destroy up to 2 spells and traps on your field, so you'd be able to pop the card you set off it. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, let's get into what the toy cards are. Toy Soldier is a level 4 light warrior that says you can set it in your hand in spell and trap card zone, same way you would off Toy Box. Then it says if the set card in the spell and trap card zone is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it. So you put the spell and trap card zone and send it, and it'll come back. But furthermore, if it's summoned, you can then add 1 Toy Box from your hand, or if you already control the Toy Box, you can add any level 4 light monster instead, which gives us many options to choose from, even if none are intrinsically Dark Magician. The next one we play, because we have to set 2 with different names, is Toy Tank, which is worse, but is still good. And then it is a level 4 machine, which can also set itself in the hand into small trap card zone, and when it goes to grave, will summon itself. Its on-field effect, though, is worse. You contribute it to special level 6 lower monster in your hand, or if you control a Toy Box, from your graveyard instead, so it can revive some cool cards. Level 6 or lower means you cannot revive the Dark Magician. However, what you can revive is the Dark Magician Girl, which does actually come up in one specific combo with this deck. Now you may ask, what level 4 light monster am I adding? You don't really want to add more toy monsters, as Magician Souls can't be used several times in one turn. And while you may immediately think Fairy Tale Snow, that is my best friend, I'll play Fairy Tale Snow, it's actually not. We're going for a bit of more of a fusion capacity here, because remember, that's the goal of our deck. You're playing a 2-card branded package, if you want to call it that, even though neither cards are directly branded cards. And that is 1 Guiding Quem the Virtuous and 2 Blazing Cartesia. Quem on summon will send Cartesia from deck to the graveyard, and then when an extra deck monster leaves the extra deck, can revive the Cartesia from the grave during either player's turn. Cartesia can quick effect fusion summon using monsters in our hand or field. Both are tuners and both are spellcasters, allowing us access to cards like Chaos Angel, as well as letting us fuse for the Dark Magicians pretty easily. Because the Dark Magicians requires a spellcaster plus DMG or Dark Magician, you can see the fusion lines up really easy there. And furthermore, one of the easiest ways to get a monster out of the extra deck is to turn level 1 into Linkuriboh, and well, Magician Souls level 1. You can see here how we can really go wide pretty fast. Now that we have an idea of how my deck is meant to function, let's take a look at what it actually looks like. Alright, so this is my deck, and immediately you may be confused, why is this deck 50 cards? Well, regrettably, I don't want it to be 50 cards, but I felt like this deck had a high amount of bricks. The Toy Tank, the Dark Magician Girl, as well as some of the support cards for Dark Magician aren't really great to draw by themselves. And one cool card here is Black Goat Laughs, a trap card which has a graveyard effect, meaning I can be aggressive with it and send it off Magician Souls and not feel bad. As well as it's specifically pretty strong against Tenpai, and with a lot of Tenpai right now in the metagame, I want to prepare for it. It makes perfect sense for this deck, as I want to be drawing spells and traps off of Dark Magicians, use it during my opponent's turn, and that way being better than hand traps. And you may ask, why upstart in 50 cards? And well, that's because you get to manipulate the top card of your deck a lot of the time with Circle, and you can kind of use it like Duality and Conjunction, which, yes, feels inefficient, but it's honestly fine. As well as upstart can be a way of triggering Dark Magicians, because when you go for your combo, that combo doesn't by itself give you any way to trigger the draw effect immediately. It doesn't have any spell cards left over. You're going to need to have either another Prep, a Toy Box, a Magician's Salvation, a Dark Magical Circle, a Soul Servant, or an Upstart. Giving yourself more targets is never a bad thing. That being said, this deck's non-engine suite is likely to change as the format changes, because you're going to want to adapt it to whatever deals in the meta most appropriately. For example, in some formats, Book of Moon and back removal cards might be better, and those would take over a lot of the spots. And I would take the same kind of core shell idea of the deck and then mesh in that type of non-engine. The rest here should be pretty self-explanatory. Some other key players in the extra deck involve Chaos Angel, which can be used with the Toy Tank plus Dark Magician Girl, for example. So our toy cards set it up super well. Now, the only other Dark Magician fusion I've decided to play here is Master of Chaos, which truthfully is a powerful card, but not for going first, and also not in many game states, only in very specific ones. It requires a Dark Magician and a Chaos monster alongside it, so Illusion of Chaos does that. Then Unfusion Summon can revive Light of Dark in your graveyard. More importantly, though, you can contribute a Light and Dark monster to banish all monsters your opponent controls. This is a way of dealing with cards that can't be destroyed, which is important, or cards that can't be targeted either. So this matters versus, say, the Horus cards, because otherwise it'd be a bit of a problem. It also says if this fusion summon card is destroyed, you can try to spell your grave at your hand. You can get into some grind games where it is meaningfully helpful. Now, with all that said, you hopefully have a good idea of how my Dark Magician deck functions and how we plan to get everything all together. So now let's harness the power of the ultimate wizard. And it's time to duel! Alright, What is this? I lost the roll and they made me go first, so I'm playing versus Tenpai. That's fantastic. And this hand is interesting, to say the least. But it's not bad, so let's play. I'm gonna use Soul's Effect, Special Summon, sending Dark Magician, obviously. Right, because I'm not gonna get 20 tank out this way. And then, yep, let's special this out. Actually, I should stack my deck probably, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go use Circle now and try and the top of my deck. There's no toggle there, I think. Okay, I'm gonna put Circle on top of my deck. And then I'm gonna draw into the circle. And then I can see what I have on top. Am I supposed to Soul Servant for a card now? Because I can use it again, right? I can put the card that searches Eternal Favor on top of my deck and then draw cards like that. And that sets Eternal Soul in the grave. But it's going to be dead unless I draw Dark Magician. Not bad follow-up, though, either. No, because I can do that later anyways, right? I can draw... Yeah, I can do that later anyways. I'm just going to do this and see what I hit first. All right, let's look at the top 3 cards. Oh, I hit it anyways. Okay, so I will add from deck to hand. If I want to draw Black Laughs, honestly, I'll take it. Yeah. So I'm going to set this. Use my effect. And I'm going to send from the Mission Salvation. Not the Salvation. I don't know why I said the Toy Soldier and draw a card. Confirm. Draw 1. And I get Special Summon out the Toy Soldier. And I'll get to add Toy Box from deck to hand. Cool. From here, this is an easy Anaconda into the Dark Magician's line, right? Yep, I think this is simple enough. Then we have to draw again. Now let's pay 2,000 life points and look for Magicalized Fusion. Is there a response? There's not. Okay. Next we summon the Dark Magician. All right. Attack mode, because I don't care if the Lightning Storm monsters. It's fine. Next, I'm going to put Dark Magician right on top of my deck and just draw a card with it. Yeah, I think that's fine. That way Eternal Soul's live. So let's throw this on top of the deck. No other way to search it, right? I already used this. I haven't. Nah, I don't want it. I don't want it here anyways. I'm going to Dark Magician. I'll draw a card with the Dark Magicians. And I'm going to save the Toy Box for next turn because I shouldn't need anything else. Let's set the Eternal Soul face down. This is looking like a grand old setup here. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. I'm going to set this face down as well so I get the draw if I need to here. I think I can get Engine if I want to return. I mean, honestly, maybe that wasn't the best play. Honestly, yeah, I probably should have held it. I'm thinking about it more. Yeah, it's fine. End turn. They have a full 6-card hand, so let's see what they can do. I don't have too much as far as disruption goes. I have to banish off Eternal Soul. I have the Black Goat right now, as well as I have a draw. I don't know what the draw is, but we'll see. If it's Tenpai, then hopefully calling Chandra on the Black Goat Laughs holds him off at bay entirely. Engage. It's Sky Strikers. Actually is Sky Striker. Interesting. So if there's no Duster in their hand, I think we have a very reasonable way of beating this. I think I'm not supposed to use the Dark Magician's effect to draw here, because it plays into Thrust and Talents, which are incredibly broken cards in this deck. So I don't want to enable that from happening. Oh, never mind. It's still Tenpai. Every single player is playing Tenpai. Who was I kidding myself? Yeah, sure, man. I guess. Fucking Tenpai. Holy shit. At Kaiman. Their main monster zone is clogged up though now. They can't use striker cards. Okay. Moment is here. Black Goat Laughs. Let's call the Chandra. I will play into what's it called now? Talents. I'll draw off this. The thinking. They could have Kaiman. What the fuck? No, I will not set a card. Because I want to be able to draw off this. They summon this. Hopefully I just draw Super Poly off of Dark Magicians now. Draw a card. And I did draw Super Poly. Right, Super Poly now. What did they search off of it? They searched Kaiman. I still lose to the Kaiman, though, is the problem. They also know it's super poly, right? I mean, I do this, it's not enough. It shouldn't be enough. The one Kaiman gets Fadra, revives this, attacks, specials from deck. It should have more than enough, but I'll try stay alive for whatever it's worth. I'm gonna discard the Dark Magician and make Garura. Fuse 1, fuse 2. The Widow Anchor's live, I guess, but I don't care about that. Super Poly was my Hail Mary, but Kaiman is so broken, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. God, this deck is so good. Tenpai is so stupid. Alright, what do they add here? Fadra, right? Fadra, okay. Summon Fadra. If they had another monster in hand, they could have added Genroku. This does double float. So I have to hope that somehow that keeps me alive. Especially because if it double floats, then this triggers as well. Actually, does it trigger the damage step? No, it doesn't. Never mind. God damn it. Revive Chandra. Yeah. I need to hope they just misread the back row or something else and go for like... I don't even know. Attack for 1,000. They probably could have got more damage attacking this into it, but... Die now. Special from deck. Doesn't matter anymore. There's no effects that do anything. They've used everything. Like, they don't have a field spell up either, so I don't actually know if this is lethal damage, but it should be a lot. It probably is still lethal damage, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if there's anything I could draw off Garura either that does anything at this point either. Because, yeah, I don't have... Ash won't do anything. It's only hand trap, Maxi, and Ash. Attack into this. Okay. Wait, I have not special from graveyard yet? Oh, they're synchro summoning. Okay. Let's say, what the hell? And I'll make Bident. Yeah, Sengenpai, Bident, Dragon. Alright. They've attacked twice. Yeah, I mean, they'll have 3 attacks pretty much instantly here. And this won't float because they'll have the level 10 up that stops effects. Yeah, it's too much for me to handle. Oh, but they summoned the wrong monster, actually, because now they can only synchro 1 more time. Oh, they messed up. They needed to get level 3 off this. There's hope. There's hope. The red reboot striker Tenpai deck, there's hope. They messed up. I think. That's how you win with the power of Yugi and the Dark Magician. Heart of the cards is actually making your opponent mess up. I can't believe I got red rebooted. Oh my god. All right. I'm not going to use that again. Draw a card. It doesn't matter. Sure. It doesn't actually do anything because if I maxi here, they just chain this. Actually, that's fine. I want them to make a 7. They'll chain maxi, I guess, for whatever it's worth. If they make black rose and chain again, then they have to bring this back and they draw a card if they want to kill something I summon off the Dark Magicians. Letting it resolve. Okay. So now the Transcendent guy comes out. I'm at 5k life because I pay 2,000 for Anaconda, which is important to note. I'm still very close to dead. Yeah, Sengenpai, Trident, Dragon. Draw a card, another maxi. Attack, and I can't use the effect. But that's okay. 15, and then if he revives the Sengenpai Biden's Dragon, then I'm at 700. So I live. I live. Their blunder. Let us live. There's hope. The Dark Magician shall reign supreme. Main phase 2. It's happening. It's happening. Link 2 for Chromatic Seal. Okay. Draw a card. Call by the Grave. That's a very good draw. Okay, and then they end. And then we draw a card. Okay, cool. Draw for turn. Droplet. That's not bad because of Toy Box. What do I want to see off this even? This Soul Servant here. What do I put? Because I already have everything I need. I think I just draw a card. The card's in my grave, right? See what I hit off this first. I guess I could draw a Toy Box target, but whatever. Okay, so draw 1. Naju into the Toy Box. Sure, sure. Oh, I put souls on top of my deck. That's what I should have done. Very obviously. Duh. Okay, you know what? It's fine. All right, yeah. Eternal Soul Effect to revive. Easy choice. Special summon the Dark Magician. The ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. Chain Hermetic Seal. Do I call by this or do I maxi? It honestly might be maxi. I don't care if I got this too much. Yeah, I think I let this rock. I let this rock and I try to get the Maxine again. Cool. This blows up the field. That triggers. And then I'm going to chain Maxi. And then I'm going to chain Soul Servant to put on top of my deck Magician Souls. Yes, yes, it all is coming together now. The power of the Dark Magician. Okay. Okay. Search off that is fine. I have to be careful. If I attack too many times, these can come back, which is a problem. Specifically, the level 10 is a problem. My life point's not that high that it can be completely reckless either. But it's okay. So start off with Magician Souls. Special summoning this card. And I'm going to send from deck to grave with the Dark Magician Girl. Next, Toy Box. We'll place from deck my 2 toy monsters. I have to go fast. I knew I was only at 60 seconds left. What the hell? What was I thinking so hard about? 1. Send on the card. Yes. Set this. And then Magician Souls effect. Draw 2 cards. Sending 1. Sending 2. And then the effect to special summon of each of these. Toy Tank and Toy Soldier. Special summoning 1. Special summoning 2. Back to search. Sure, let's get Quem. May as well. Get the Quem from deck to my hand. Next, the effect of Toy Tank. To special summon the Dark Magician Girl. Wait, I can summon Garura. Never mind, I'm summoning Garura. And for my next trick, I will synchro summon Chaos Angel. And banish this Tenpai monster. So now only 2 attacks are needed to kill my opponents here, and I still have not normal summoned. Next, I will normal summon Cartesia. Unless there's anything here. I have Ash as well. Battle phase. Let's go! Alright, so I've lost the roll here up against... Can't read that. With the Halloween sleeves on. Alright, cool. What's in store for us? The hand here looks... It's lacking substance, but it doesn't look the worst. We have ways to play through fields. It's Sprite. Okay, Droplet and Poly are both good against that deck, so I have some hopes. Let's see what version of Sprite, I guess. Could be Live Twins. The sleeves wouldn't, even though not Live Twins, kind of look like Live Twins, so I wouldn't be surprised. That's what it was. And red. Interesting. Not Jets. They may already have Jet. I got nothing else to do besides just sit and watch those, so let's just pay attention to what they do. Maybe you can learn something about their hand. Not much more to say. And, excuse me? A Krawler. Oh my god. Krawler. Not what I expected. So there is only really one good Krawler card, and it's Krawler Soma, I think it's called. It's level 6 one. That card is bonkers, but every other Krawler card is kind of just terrible. It's a flip deck. Yeah, this is the good card, Soma. Yeah, ultra rare, of course. Every other card's kind of just bad. So I'm curious where this is going, or this is some, like, mini Sprite engine. Maybe he just plays, like, 2 shit Crawlers to summon off Soma and 3 Somas. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say that's what it is, because there's no way it's an actual Crawler deck. That sounds terrible. What is happening to me? Gale Dogra. Sending... Oh, they're summoning Winda against me? Okay, I have Droplet and Poly, so neither that really, like, is going to do too much against me. I'm not too worried about that. Discarding another... Okay, maybe it's just Crawler. What am I playing against? What is happening? Okay, a plan of attack is simple, though. We have Droplet or Poly for the window. We'll make sure we save one. If I go reveal Souls and they chain the trap, the Schism to summon... They won't be able to send the Souls, but it'll block me off of summoning, which is what they may want to do. Then Droplet will punish them. They're just going to go Elf. Interesting. Valuing a beat stick maybe, or some insect synergy perhaps, but Alpha could revive that. Anyways, let's draw and see what we get. Toy Box is fantastic. It's actually just fantastic. So I'm going to start with Toy Box. It shouldn't draw too much attention to it, hopefully. Smashers could get used on here, but if Smashers gets used, it's not the biggest deal. I'm happy to see Smashers gone. In fact, the card is very, very strong. I don't really know what the spells and traps do. I know there's one that flip-flops face up, face down, but that doesn't do anything here. Could be Sol E Luna, Sun and Moon. Okay, let it go through. Let's use the effect now. What's this? Oh, no. Yeah, this effect plays summon spell and trap card zone, which will work great with Droplet or with Souls. I am fine either way. Yeah, so 1 and 2. Yeah, and I'm going to keep it outside of the Imperm column. So I want to keep this column safe so I can use my spells there. So Preparation of Rites now. And I'm going to grab the Illusion of Chaos and then get Souls, which is exactly what our game plan is set out to do. So I'm feeling good here. We are on our track to press through. Okay, they're thinking here they could red this. I will Droplet if it happens probably, but no. Okay, so we get the Souls. Now what do I get put back? The Illusion of Chaos or the Droplet? I'm gonna put back the Droplet actually, because this is my only source of follow-up right now, and I have another Droplet anyways. Next, I'm gonna use Souls effect, and what am I gonna send? I'm gonna send Dark Magician Girl, because I can revive that with Toy Tank, which can come up. Yes. Send Dark Magician Girl. And they're going to chain Schism, as I predicted. Okay, so this is exactly what I said might happen, which I'm fully prepared for. Let's do nothing to this. It's on resolution, we'll do something. So it sends a monster the same attribute as the shell monster he summons, but because this resolves first, the Souls won't be on the field yet. That means it'll count for the summon for Wenda, but it won't be able to get sent off this. So debating on what he's trying to go for, either or could be deemed the optimal play. In this case, having Droplet, I'd rather he does this. Although obviously I could Super Poly it away as well. Now I won't be able to because this will be my one summon. I'm going to summon this in defense because there's no point of being an attack. I don't know why I even told you guys that. I could have inferred that honestly anyways. From this point, I'm going to use this effect to see if he does anything. And then I'm going to go Droplet send. I'm going to send 1 for this, right? I can send this as well, but I kind of want to keep the toy box up. Because I can check for Imperm here. And then, or I can send 2. I'm going to use the effect for 1. Just 1. Because if he uses Imperm, I can chain Droplet and it's fine. If he doesn't chain Droplet, I'm going to send Trap off it. So that way he can't use anything to block me. I'm going to use Red. That's also fine because I'm going to begin negating that anyways. So I think this is still more value. Clears a monster this way. I'm going to chain Droplet. I'm going to call Trap with this. So I'm going to get rid of the Black Olafs. I'm going to get rid of the Toy Tank. 2 monsters for a monster trap. There's a toggle, so there's a Call by the Grave or a Droplet there. That doesn't chain anything, so I'm not going to do anything myself. And we'll negate this and negate that. It could be Smashers still, actually. It could still be Smashers as well, or Starter even. Draw another Droplet. I put it back, right? Like I shoveled my deck. Sure. Anyways, effects Chainlink 1 and Chainlink 2 play around. I mean, it's no Ash Blossom, but play around Strike, I guess, for whatever reason. If that may help. Call by the Grave, yeah. So probably hits the Toy Soldier. That's the better one. We're not out of the woods just yet. Hit the Toy Soldier. Okay. I don't have anything I can do about that. So I'll get to... Wait, he summoned the tank? Get rid of the tank. Interesting. That's just wrong, because now I get to special or search from deck to hand. I won't have access to revive the Dark Magician Girl, but that's okay. I'm going to get the Quem. And, yeah, I'm going to summon the Quem. Send Cartesia from deck to grave. I won't be able to kill this immediately, but I have Typhon. The Typhon would have to go on top of the Dark Magicians. What if we go Kuribo here? So revive the Cartesia. And I can SP banish this. Yeah, I think that's the the best course of action. Then I can link off for the Dark Magicians after. Okay, I like that. I'm not going to fuse. The alternative is to fuse. But fusing doesn't do much. I can bounce this, the Grand Guignol. I kind of rather save that as a disruption on their turn. So I'm going to make SP here. I'm going to throw away this and this to try and force out the gigantic Sprite. Just reduce their follow-up. And they've conceded. All right. See, this is the problem with playing Master Duel, man. I don't get to finish my combos. It was only a matter of time before I summoned the Dark Magicians. The play there was simple, though. I'm banishing the Gigantic first with SP, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to link off the Cartesia and the SP for Anaconda, and Anaconda will send Magicalized Fusion to banish the DMG and probably the souls from my grave to make the Dark Magicians. A way of generating resources and just having a body on field. Attack to clear the field, because the Gigantic will be gone. Everything else should be small enough to attack over. On their turn, Quem, whenever a guy is summoned from the X deck, or if I resolve Super Poly, can revive Cartesia. Cartesia will then be able to fuse with the Anaconda for Grand Guignol, which can send from deck to grave I need a Dark Magician, or it can send Malong, which will bounce a card. So I still had, between the Droplet, the Super Poly, and the Quem, 3 layers of disruption that can clear their field, as well as I have a flow of resource regeneration with our Dark Magicians. So very much on track for a victory there. Our opponent saw that. All right, so I have won the roll up against KOH Feener here. Hand looking okay, but yeah, I mean, I feel okay about this. Let's start off with Illusion of Chaos for sure. Let's just see what happens. Assuming I let this go through, then I will just draw with sending Toy Tank. Do I want to send Toys back Soul Servant as well? Probably. I mean, I want draws here, right? I want to see Quem Cartesia. I'm not going to chain, so let's get souls. If I get Max Seed here, this would blow, truthfully. Okay, so I'm going to go Souls effects. I'm going to send Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. So this one can summon Dark Magician Girl from the grave if I control the toy box. That can matter if I draw into Cartesia or Quem. So do I send it? Or Dark Magician's probably just better in a grind game, though. I'll send Dark Magician here. That way I still have both in deck for later, and I'm not going to need... I don't think I need the Toy Tanks effect right now. Okay, resolves. No Max C is kind of nice. The question is, do I want to draw 1 or try go for 2? I think I try go for 2 draws off this. I'm just going to send a Soul Servant. It's not the end of the world. If I get Ash, that will be unfortunate. I'm not going to lie. But there's a good chance he has it. It's Gamma! That's even worse. Oh, man, this is bad. This is really bad. The Toy Tank can come out. What do I do next? The Toy Tank gets the field. There's no toggle, so it's probably all they have. All right, I'm going to have to use Soul Servant here. And I'm going to place on top of the deck. I think I just go for Magician's Rod. And then I can get Dark Magical Circle. I can go Anaconda and draw a card that way. But I won't have a Dark Magician Grave if I set that up, is the problem. That is my biggest issue, because if I do that, and Circle has no targets, maybe I don't go for Anaconda. What's the other play I can do? I can go for nothing, really. All right. I'm going to draw a card here. And I know this is rough. What I'm aiming to do is just pretty much get to use like a duality sort of combo here. I'm going to add from deck to hand the Dark Magical Circle. Then I get to go Anaconda. And this is not a good Anaconda because the circle won't do much even if I hit off it. But I'm hoping that the draw from this and the draw from this is enough to keep me in the game. And I get to look at my top decks. So I'm hoping I can draw into Maxi Ash Blossom type cards. So let's send... that's funny. I'm not going to do that, obviously. I'm going to send Magicalized Fusion and make the Dark Magicians! I'm going to banish these 2 from grave. Keep the Magician Rod in there because it has a graveyard effect, obviously. Summoning in attack or defense. If you use a Lightning Storm on monsters, I'm fine with that. So I'm going to summon in attack mode. Next, I'm going to activate Dark Magical Circle to look at the top 3 cards of my deck. If I hit off it, brilliant, but I'm not expecting to. I drew 2 of my like 4 targets already. Oh, I hit Eternal Soul, but these suck. Oh man, these are both my draws. Wait, can I add this? Oh, yeah, okay. My first time actually hitting off this that I didn't even know how to add it. Yeah, grab the Eternal Soul, but I have no targets for this. It doesn't actually matter. In fact, I wonder if I set it. I'm pretty sure I don't set it, so I bluff that I already have it. Issue is these cards both blow. Like, I don't want to draw either of these. I guess I'll draw the IOC, but I've already used Illusion of Chaos, right? I started with it? I did, yeah. I mean, and the issue is I'm drawing another droplet off this, which I really don't want to draw. That was bad. I drew 2 cards I've already used in a 50-card deck. I was really hoping I'd do something else. I have no way to shuffle my deck. I don't play Dark Magic Attack to turn this into a search, because that would let me shuffle. I mean, it's droplet in a dream. That's really all I have going for me. Perhaps he thinks it's wise to... I should have set this, because if I set this, flip it up and send it off droplet, it blows up, which will trigger this special summon from the deck, and then I can banish the circle. I had actually one more secret interrupt that I didn't go for. My lack of practice with this deck shows. Okay, that's not actually the end of the world, because now I get to trigger the Dark Magicians and I'll draw a new droplet, so it's not actually a big deal. There's another chainable. You're thinking about imperming this, Ash Blossoming this. Okay. I'm running out of options here. I really tried my best to not lose, but Ash Duster Gamma, Tenpai Field Spell. How do they always draw so good? Dude, I swear, every video I post nowadays is going to be at least one loss to Tenpai, because you just get God-handed in, like... Meanwhile, I'm struggling with mid-variants, and they've got Ash, Gamma, Duster, Field Spell. Like bro. I meant as well, bro, just like... Alright, I'll just... You got this one, man. Okay, so that was the Dark Magician. Unfortunately, we could not go 3-0 as we did fall short. There is so much Tenpai right now. And Tenpai is a deck where no matter how much you prepare for it, if they draw one of their god hands, you will just get creamed. There's nothing you can do about it. But I feel like we held our own just fine. And if you guys want to take on a version of Dark Magician, I think this direction is definitely where you want to go. I know it's not pure, but until we get new support cards, playing a pure Dark Magician deck just means you're playing a deck from 10 years ago. And I can't recommend that. So if you're looking to show off your ultimate wizard, this is how I'd recommend doing it. If you guys have any other versions of Dark Magician you feel like are worth looking at, let me know, because I'm curious. This is a deck that really needs something else alongside it to function. So if there's any other cool engines you've discovered that work alongside Dark Magician, I'm curious to hear about it. Besides that, that's all for now, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace.